Today, let's talk about checking the frets on this guitar neck. You will need a few specialty guitar neck tools, but I'm also including the tools you need to do the setup on this too. So you're going to need a fret rocker tool here. You're also going to need a string action gauge. This will help you set the action on your guitar. A good set of calipers would be nice too. I use these digital calipers right here. You're also going to need a straight edge. I use this notch straight edge designed for the guitar. Now, these were by far the most expensive things, but they're well worth it, are the nut files and the fret files. The nut files here, they will help you dial in your nut after you get it all set up for it. And then the fret files will help you recrown your frets if you have to fret dress or level anything. So they are a bit more expensive than the other tools, but they are well worth it. Well worth the investment, that's for sure. So that's pretty much what you need to do the fret work and to get this thing ready to go. Also a feeler gauge set, but I took the 10,000s, the one I use the most, out of it, so I don't have to mess with carrying the whole thing. If you find any value with this content, please give it a like, share, or subscribe. Also, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask. I will do my best to get to you as soon as possible. But I really appreciate your comments and subscriptions. It really means the world to me. So thank you. And all that being said, let's get this video rolling. So we're going to start off with checking the neck radius and all the measurements on the neck so you can see how it is. And this one is a 12-inch radius at the first fret, and it is also a 12-inch radius at the 12th fret. So this is a straight 12-inch radius neck, which is pretty average for these things. Here is how thick the neck is at the first fret. This is all in millimeters, so about 25 millimeters at the first fret, and then at the 12th fret we've got right around 23 millimeters, close to 23 millimeters at the 12th fret. Also, the nut width is basically 42 millimeters, and then we have the width at the 12th fret that is 52 millimeters. So that might get you an idea of what the neck feels like. Here are the profiles of the back of the neck. As you can see here, it's pretty much a C shape. At the 12th fret there, it flattens out a little bit, but for the most part, it is a very neutral, comfortable, typical neck. It does feel very comfortable though. So we're going to take the straight edge and make sure the neck is straight before we do anything else at this point. We just want to make sure that there's no curve in it, no bow or back bow or any of that stuff. And then we're just going to start checking to see if the frets are level. So the way you use a fret rocker is that you run the edge over 3 frets, and if it rocks, you have a high fret, and you just have to mark it. I have to say, this neck was pretty awesome in that way. The frets were level. There was no issue. And as you go up the neck, you see the different edges of the fret rocker. You just adjust for that going all the way up. And so you just do 3 frets at a time. You move up a fret. And that's how you check to see if you got any high frets. So if you have a bunch of high frets, then you have to do a fret dressing and go through that whole process. But we didn't have to do any of that. The frets were level. I was really surprised. The fret edges were a little sharp. It wasn't like sticking out past the thing, but it was like the little corners were just a little bit catching. So I used this file, which has a flat end on it, to just nib those little edges on the ends just a little bit. It wasn't really bad. It was just a little bit sharp. I didn't like it. So it don't take much. You just kind of give it a little bit of a once over, and you'll see those edges just get knocked down just a hair. Now the fret file that I used on this does have a flat edge on one end, and you want to use that flat edge on the fretboard so that you don't gouge out your fretboard or any of that. And you just run it over the edge just a little bit. I mean, it really isn't much, but it's just a nice little touch that really helps the frets look a little bit more finished and feel very, very nice. So now that we've got our level frets and we've got our edges all worked out, it's time to work on the polishing. And this is pretty much is the last part of doing the fret work. Like if you had to dress and level the frets, you would have to do that before you do this. But we didn't have to do any of that. So luckily, basically just polishing up the frets now. Now there's guys that use a Dremel tool for this. They use all different types of stuff. I personally like using the mesh sanding pads. They come in a little 1x1 square, and it goes from 400 grit to 12,000 grit, but not every single stage. You know what I mean? So what happens is that you just slowly go run through the grits, and it will polish the fretboard for you. So then once I get all that done, I just run a simple mineral oil on the fretboard. I don't use any fancy other stuff, just regular plain Jane Walmart mineral oil. I think it will add a little bit of moisture to it too. Lemon oil will work, but it can tend to dry it out a little bit over time. And I find that I like the mineral oil best. So once that's all done, we got her polished up and looking pretty good. So there it is. The frets are polished and level, and there's no sharp edges. Everything's good. We've got everything ready to go for this neck to be installed. I did also super glue the frets just to make sure that they were done, because I'm not sure about this. It says it's a composite material for the fretboard, so I'm not sure how well it'll hold the frets in. But they weren't bad anyway. I just did it for a precaution. The only problem is that my camera was screwing up on me and I lost the footage for it. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know and I'll make a video for it. And we're getting closer. I have 2 more videos. I have the wiring video to do for the upgraded pickups and the setup video. And then I'll do a full review of this with sound samples and talk a little bit about everything, putting this thing together. And then this will be a complete playlist on here where you'll be able to watch from beginning video to the ending video and put this kit together yourself. You know, it's not necessarily a step-by-step how-to, but more along the lines of advice, so that while you're going through this, you're learning how to do it on your own, but yet you have a little bit of guidance there to where it's not so much of a instruction booklet, but more of just chatting with somebody, giving some advice on how that's done this a few times, you know, that sort of thing. So I really appreciate you guys watching this stuff, and please, if you have any questions, leave it down below, and we will talk to you on the next one. Thank you.